Yeah, what's poppin', everybody? March 12th, 2019. Happy Tuesday out in Outrageous Stan. How the fuck we doing, ladies and gentlemen? How the fuck we doing? I'm trying to stop saying ladies and gentlemen so much. You know, it's a goddamn habit that I'm trying to break, party people. Okay. How we doing out there? Let's pull it a little closer. Let's not play my own stream while I'm streaming. Let's not. Oh, I'm. That's the look I'm going for, Kashav. I'm going for that Fidel Castro swag, and I'm just trying to impress Justin Trudeau. All right, trying to bang Justin Trudeau's mom, and that's what you need to do. All right. All right, share it out on the Facebook. All right, how the fuck we doing? How the fuck we doing? AJ says, is this a white supremacist meeting? Well, we don't call it that, but, we do wink at the camera, all right? And I think you get it. It's an understood, it's a social contract here at the Federal Outrage Commune. Social contract that you all agree to, all right? It's a subtle nudge, nudge, and a wink, wink, all right? You're fine, Testy. Heckle away. I need the training. All right, I'm out here on the stand-up stages. I can handle it, baby. I got my big boy pants on tonight. Big boy pants. All right, I was up at the fourth wall there talking about the wonders of transgender women, and how they're making female sports so much more exciting, and how it's reigniting my hoop dreams. And my thoughts, I want to go and try to join the WNBA and average 30 points a game, because I feel like, it would be a lot more fruitful endeavor than how I fared against actual male competition. And I think, it could be a really progressive thing to do, bring some light to the progressive movement, and also, give the WNBA some good ratings there. I'm sure they would appreciate it, as long as they don't actually make me go through with the post-op surgery there. What's going on with the lighting tonight? It looks a little dark. You know what I'm saying, everybody? Does it look dark or look fine? I feel a little... Maybe it's because I'm getting so tan. Oh, I'm out here in Los Angeles. It's actually been fucking cloudy and rainy for a week straight. And I feel like the rent prices need to go down in accordance with this goddamn weather. But, we're coping out here in Hollywood paradise. Okay, we're all right on the brightness. That's good. But, we're not truly going to be good until we get Tucker Carlson taken off the air. All right? That's what everybody on Twitter wants. All right? The people have spoken. Once upon a time, Tucker Carlson said something that people on Twitter thought was misogynist. What's up, Risby? Yes, I'm just magnanimous. I'm glowing. Once upon a time, Tucker Carlson said something mean about women. And so we need to shut down that man's free speech and throw him in a gulag. All right? Nobody talks bad about the vaginas and gets away with it in 2019. Okay? Because they've done a wonderful job, since they got the vote. All right? Nothing has gone bad. There hasn't been, the welfare state has been a giant success. We've poured $20+ trillion into trying to help solve poverty, and it hasn't really gone down that much, but at least we're trying, which is what matters. Is if you care in your heart, if you have empathy, if you have pathological altruism, that's all that matters, baby. It's not about results or efficiency. That's mansplaining. All right, you wouldn't want to mansplain about, needing results from your trillions of dollars in investment. All right, we don't need to do that. We just need to silence the people that point it out. All right, and Tucker Carlson is the tip of the spear of these evil men who think that they can just come on air with their facts and arguments and make fun of the left. And you can't get away with that. All right, this is victimhood supremacy at work. All right, the victims, they deserve their speech and you do not. You cannot point out, hypocrisy in the victims groups there, or they will righteously tear you down, tear you off your patriarchal throne, you evil demon. Tucker Carlson and his facts and statistics, we need to silence him. That's what I'm talking about, dude. He needs a nice, pussy hat, balled up and stuffed in that oppressive throat of his. We need to wad up a pussy hat. We had one here laying here the other night. Wad up one of those pussy hats, those nice, knitted hats, and just stuff it down that evil, oppressive Nazi's throat. All right? And that's how he should have to do his show, with a pussy hat in his throat. Okay? That's the only way we're going to balance this out, because truthfully, I didn't even read what they're saying that he said. Is like, it's so egregious and horrible, but if it's the social justice warriors on Twitter, you can guarantee it's horseshit, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to stop saying ladies and gentlemen so much because, until we get more ladies on the podcast. Well, we have had the lovely Vanessa tuning in, and my sister at times. My lovely sister back in Oklahoma, Julie, he called a woman unattractive. Well, I think he should be forced into gender reassignment surgery and have to walk a mile in her shoes. All right. And we'll see how unattractive he thinks he is. Okay. Pump some estrogen into that body, Tucker. Tuck it, Carlson. Tuck that cock away, okay? And we'll see how you deal with, the standards of beauty that women have to live up to. Madison Avenue creates these unattainable standards that women have to live up to, and we just need to be body positive about our fatness and our ugliness. And it's at the mic tonight. It was hilarious. This chick that went on last. It's usually a pretty rowdy crew of dudes at 10 o'clock. We get up there and talk shit about anything and everything, and it's pretty politically incorrect, and it's awesome. And this fugly lesbian chick came up last, and I wouldn't even make fun of her. She was funny and just went up there, but she was like started right in trashing the mic and how like, she had heard bad things about this mic and we had just confirmed it all. And then like she went into just talking about, her gash loving nonsense. And it was just a browbeating display of nonsense, ladies and gentlemen. Because that's what passes for comedy in 2019. If you go up and complain about a bunch of perceived wrongs against you, you can get up on that victimhood podium with your MC Hammer pants and that fugly mug of yours and just complain why no one loves you. Oh yeah, nobody's with her and she's all nagging us. Isn't that what the Tonight Shows are all about? Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's Jimmy Fallon empathizing with the morons and saying, aren't men terrible? Aren't we just pathetic? We can't get anything done. We're just pieces of shit, aren't we? It's never ending. It's just raining pieces of shit man everywhere. No, that's you, Jimmy. That's, if you want to see a parody of The Tonight Show, we have a Tonight Show parody on Outrage TV. Check it out later on. It's called Russia Hacks The Tonight Show. And, I play Jimmy Fallon and I suck up to the Russian spy that's invited on to the Tonight Show. Testa, you had a question for me? Go ahead, throw a question out. You don't have to ask me a question about asking me a question. Just ask the question, bro. Go ahead. Can you tell us how to write a really good joke? Well, it's kind of different for everybody because everybody has a different style. How I do it is, oh, cool. You're gonna try stand up, right on. How I do it is I just come up with. I heard Bill Hicks say this one time that to find the topic to start with, you want to not start too general where your setup gets way too long and boring. So you want to start with something that is fucking with you emotionally. You want to start with something that's fucking with you emotionally and morally. So how Bill Hicks phrased it is something that goes against your inner sense of reason. Something that just doesn't seem right to you. That's just weird to you. So start with something weird like that. And then ask yourself, okay, cool. So start with something that goes against your inner sense of reason. Start with something that just like gives you that twist in your stomach where you're like, what the fuck is that? For me, that was like when the trans women won the sprinting race, the female sprinting race there, and they finished first and second. And yeah, Bill Hicks gave this cool interview on this rock show. What up, Jacob? I appreciate it, man. I'm trying to hide my ugly face as much as possible with the beard, and let's mask it. All right, mask it in masculinity, everybody. So yeah, you start with something that's weird that goes against your inner sense of reason, and then you ask yourself what's weird about it, and then that will give you a premise. So what's really specifically weird about it? What's fucking with me about it? And then that'll give you a premise, and then you can play off of that with like, I usually do two, like, what's weird about it, two specific things that are weird about it, and then you can wrap them together and make it into like a satire, like act out of what's ridiculous about it. And like, your brain will start going off in different directions if you ask yourself those questions. Oh, what is fucking with me emotionally? And then like start with the topic, and then what's specifically weird about that to me, and then you can go in any number of different directions, but it's gonna like prompt your brain to come up with ridiculous scenarios about it. So for me, like the trans women thing, I was like, oh, that's a way to get my hoop dreams inspired again. I'm gonna join the WNBA, and as long as they don't make me chop the cock off or take that estrogen, I'll be okay. All right. If they tell me to, I'm gonna tuck it like Tuck-It Carlson, tuck it and tape it, all right, and hope they don't notice me poking out the back of my shorts in practice, all right? So yeah, it's mainly just getting up on stage. I wouldn't focus on, trying to write shit as detailed as in like word for word and trying to recite it and remember it, because you'll get all jammed up and it won't come off natural. So just write down a couple of ideas, start with something that fucks with you, and then what's specifically weird about it, and then maybe like an idea for a satire scenario based on that, and then go up on stage and just play around with it and fuck around. Oh, Jacob Crusoe, you got that back rub magic? Oh shit. I need a deep tissue, baby. Deep tissue massage. You're on that Robert Kraft special, all right? You're trying to, sneak me into that happy ending. I'm not into that, dude. Don't try to sneak and skirt around it, all right? Just come out with your intentions, goddammit. Get inspired by John Travolta on his private plane. Burgess says, I think I could be a stand-up. I have no problem talking to crowds, but it's like, what type of crowd am I playing to? Yeah, there's no bad crowds, just wrong choices. That's another Bill Hicks quote. That's the number one worst thing you could do as a comic is blame the audience. I mean, truthfully, there are some audiences that it's really fucking tough because they're either not getting what you're saying or they're too drunk or whatever. But if you make that excuse to say, oh, it was the audience's fault, you're not focusing on what you can improve as the comic, and you're not getting better, and you're not learning from your shit. What up, 1,000 Yard? He on that long bear stare, baby. Long bear staring. Yes, sirree. We're just here breaking down the intricacies of comedy writing here. Layton says, what are you talking about? Amy Schumer blamed the audience. She must be right because she's a woman. Well, yes, women never lie. They don't have the imagination to lie. And, that's why it's oppressive and patriarchal to question the allegations of women because, it's the progressive point of view that women don't have the mental capacity or the imagination to come up with lies. And so, you really should just believe them because, they can barely muster up enough brain power to, express their thoughts or and get past their emotions in their head. And so they don't have enough horsepower between their ears to come up with a lie. I mean, who would lie? You just have to believe everything women say because, they're helpless victims that have no consciousness fundamentally. And so it's punching down to make fun of women. You have to believe them and never make fun of them. And that's the most important thing, all right? And you're not going to get a lot of pussy doing that, and that's okay, all right? You just watch your porn and cuck yourself, all right? And that's what's good. That's the modern 2019 male. You have to be nice to women and never make fun of them. Don't get any pussy and watch your porn. There you go. There's the recipe for the modern 2019 beta male. I mean, in actuality, it's fundamentally in women's nature to manipulate because that's their biggest strength is to manipulate men to do their bidding. Men's biggest strength is their actual physical strength or their actual intellect going out and being the hunter-gatherers of the equation and bringing back the meat to the tribe. But the women sit around and collect berries and talk shit behind other people's back and just manipulate. And, there's nothing fundamentally wrong with it, but they got to do that to survive, all right? They got to manipulate. They got to, play with emotions and get you to do the things they need you to do without forcing you to do it. And so, that's the women's superpower is they manipulate your emotions, baby. Burgess says it was explained to me by this, not sexist. Why are there no female geniuses? It's because there's no female Jack the Ripper. Yeah, they're just, the bell curve of intelligence for men and women is different. So there's a lot more women clustered around the median IQ, and there's a lot more extremes on the men's side. So there's a lot more extreme idiots that are men, and there's a lot more extreme geniuses that are men. But women tend to cluster around the middling IQ point there, a little more stable. But yeah, not many female Nobel Prize winners. And it's only because they've been oppressed and marginalized and held back from all of the scientific advancements they could have had. We need to get more women in the STEM fields. God damn it. What if they don't want to go in the STEM fields? We need to force them. They need to study science. Women are much more comfortable interacting with people. Men are more comfortable interacting with things. So, the scientific instrumentation, leave it up to the men, ladies. Focus on your daycare and your elementary school teaching. Your lunch lading, and so forth. What about closers? You talking about like closing jokes? Tell us how to get a last crack. Well, shit, man. That's just part of building a narrative with your joke. It should build up to a crescendo, and then the funniest part of the joke should be, you know, 3/4 of the way in, and then you resolve the. It's just like a good movie. The climax of the movie is like, if it's a 90-minute movie, the climax happens at like minute 80, and then you got 10 minutes after to resolve and wrap up the shit. But just make sure you know, if you want to close strong, have a strong closing bit. I mean, I'm still doing these 5-minute sets, so I go on stage with like basically 2 ideas and work them out, and I usually put the stronger one in the back so I can get laughs coming off stage. But don't overthink it though. Just get on stage. That's what you got to do to get better. It's because learning how to do stand up is like learning how to ride a bike. It's you can watch me. Check out Outrage TV. I posted some stand up clips. I got like 5 of them up there. But it's like learning how to ride a bike. Every set, you're pushing one of them pedals down. So every night you get on stage, you're pushing one of them pedals down, and sooner or later you're cruising on the bike. If you're up on stage every night, you're cruising up on the bike, and then you get comfortable with getting on stage every night. And now I'm gonna pop a wheelie. I'm gonna ride with a wheelie. I'm gonna fucking fly off a fucking dirt jump and get some air and shit. And you might crash the first time you go off the jump, but you get right back on that bike, baby, the next night, and you get to rocking. I fell fucking hard the first time I was riding a bike. My dad was teaching me how to ride a bike, dude. My elementary school had this fucking hill, and my dad, for some reason, started me off riding a bike down this hill. He would guide me. And one time I took a fucking spill, dude, and I was like, man, how am I supposed to trust you after this, Dad? God damn it. Give me the training wheels back, motherfucker. All right, let me take a quick little tinkle here, the Federal Outrage Chancellor, and then I'm gonna grab another beer. And yeah, dude, I took some wipeouts on the bike. I was talking last podcast. That's how I got a scar on my chin. You can't see it right now, but I wiped out like a motherfucker going down in the ditch. Ooh, I landed the chin first, boy. That shit was hanging off my fucking face, son. All right, I'll be back in a second. Quick tinkle. I'm gonna grab another beer. Be right back. Oh boy, we had to hit him with that tall boy tonight. Oh Lord. I ran out of natural light. That's manipulation, baby. Mansplaining. This is the Mansplaining podcast here in the Outrage TV network, where a man gets on camera and spews his patriarchal, demonic views to the internet, ladies and gentlemen. How the feminists haven't shut him down, no one knows. They're coming for him soon. Lesbians in parachute pants are protesting right outside my apartment, ladies and gentlemen. A gaggle of lesbians in their parachute pants are out doing MC Hammer dances and scissoring each other in the street to protest this stream. And God bless America, the stream shall continue. I wouldn't have it any other way. If there wasn't a gaggle of lesbians protesting outside my apartment, I'm not doing my job. So yeah, I was talking about transgender women taking over female sports, and you know, hopefully they'll get some more ratings. You know, very progressive. And I was talking about the R. Kelly thing. Just how impressive it is that he has both his girlfriends there defending him in the face of video evidence of him fucking a 14-year-old. They're like, "We still love you, Robert. We love Robert." And the interview lady was like, "Have you seen the video?" And don't you question our love for Robert. Okay, we know Robert like you don't know Robert. Okay, Robert is a great man. Dude, pedophilia aside, pimp game goals right there, son. R. Kelly's got them bitches dignitized, okay? I want a squad of females like that, man. That you could show them, like, I want females, you could show them a video of me, like, lighting a box of kittens on fire, you know, and I'm like, yeah, burn, kittens, burn, ah. And they're like, we love Nick, all right? Don't question our love for Nick, okay? Is this CGI? Who edited this video? We love Nick, okay? What did those kittens do to Nick? Okay, we didn't see the beginning of the video. They might have tried to attack him. We don't know, all right? These are allegations. We don't know the full story. Yeah, we've known about R. Kelly for a while. I just didn't know the extent of his pimp game. That's just goddamn amazing. You know, pedophiles usually don't fare too well in prison. But I have a feeling, you know, give R. Kelly a month and he'll have the hardest motherfuckers in that cell block totally in love with him. You know? You'll have, you know, them hard gangbanging motherfuckers with tattoos everywhere. And the only fights will be happening, they'll be fighting over who loves Robert more. You don't even love Robert. When's the last time you rubbed his feet? All right, I seen you clipping his nails. That's something. You didn't rub the feet. You neglected Robert's feet. What are you, a punk? R. Kelly be slinging that pimp game around the cell block, bruh. I'm trapped in a jail cell. I didn't know the girl was 14. Oh my God. When you got a voice of gold and $1 million, man, ooh, you can make them bitches do what it do, baby. Oh my God. Robert's got the whole cell block pimped out. You know, they're just doing all this, making him sandwiches and shit. They got rollers in their hair. R. Kelly's sitting there and he sings them like bedtime stories. I believe I can soar. See me running through them jail cell doors. You gon' help me break out this motherfucker. But for now, get some sleep. And they're like, oh, Robert, I love you, man. I love you, Robert. You know. Singing them lullabies, baby. Them sweet R. Kelly lullabies in jail, man. And he'll have a squad of bitches waiting when he gets out. And he'll tell them straight up. He'll be like, babies, I went gay for prison. And you don't. And that's none of your business. And they'll be like, we don't care at all, Robert. It just... fuck us, please. We don't care at all, Robert. We love you. Why are you burning those kittens? What did those kittens do to you, Robert? Just making excuses for him. Like, dude, that's that strong pimp game, man. Ladies love a horrible dude. You know, if he's talented and like, you know, somewhat attractive looking, and especially if he can fuck, they love a dude that's dangerous and bad for them. There's a reason 50 Shades of Grey is the best goddamn you know, best-selling novel of all time. All right, women love to be dominated by men they perceive to be better than they are, and people like to deny that, especially the white liberals. They like to deny that women are like that. They can't figure out why R. Kelly has all these girlfriends. They're like, but he's terrible, and the women are like, we love Robert. He gets our pussy wet. He just doesn't care. Exactly, Patrice O'Neill. That's he really solidified that philosophy for me, because I had understood it by example and by experience in college. Like, women will give you that shit test, and they do that not because they're a bitch, but that's the type of female manipulation I'm talking about, of that's female nature. They won't, like, straight up, like, put you on the spot and be like, well, they will put you on the spot, but they won't, like, be explicit about it. They'll, like, just do some shit like come over and act real sexual, like they want to have sex with you, and then as soon as you try to make a move, they'll shut down and be like, and they just to see how you react. They really want to have sex with you, but they want to see how you react. If you get upset and you're like clearly agitated by the shit, they know that you're really not used to getting women like that, and so you aren't worthy of getting them like that. So they constantly have to test the man to see how really confident he is in himself, and if he really is just faking the funk, or if he really is that confident. And so, women have to manipulate on a certain level to really get to the core of who the man is that they're with, to test him, And but yeah, I learned that from experience, and Patrice validated it, where he's like, yeah, women don't want to be equals with the man they're with. That they're gonna be miserable. They don't want to dominate the relationship. They don't want to be put up on a pedestal. That's what they hate. They hate when a guy's like, super chivalrous and like, anything for you, darling, and laying his coat down in the fucking mud puddle for them to walk over. What up, Bill Thompson? Yeah, they hate that. They hate that subservient, like, well, whatever you want to do. I mean, you want to play bear pong? You want to, could we possibly fuck later? They don't want you to, like, cater to their needs. They don't want you to try to make them happy. They want a guy that is already making himself happy and is fundamentally living a better life than they are. They want to fuck up. That's hypergamy. And there's nothing wrong with hypergamy. It gets a bad rap in the pickup community, but that's to be expected. Women want the security of being with a man that's better at life than they are. And that makes them feel secure. That makes them feel safe. Because, like, oh, this motherfucker knows what he's doing to some extent. And there's certain, like, markers that guys can give off that, like, oh, they're better than the chick. Even if they aren't. If they act like it, and they really, like, get deep in the method acting of the shit, where they're like, they really don't give a fuck. And, that's why Patrice said, the justification for calling a woman bitch. That's like a dude shit test. It's like you call a girl a bitch when she's acting like a bitch, and watch her freak out, and then you stay cool about it, and you're like, well, you are acting like a bitch. Don't be a bitch then. And she just has to freak out because she just doesn't know. There's nothing else she can do. She can't. She's just like, she's not going to assault you, And so it's a power move. It's a I don't give a fuck move. And women fundamentally respect it, especially if they actually were being a bitch and you call them out for it. And then they're like, oh my God, he doesn't take bullshit. He's actually calls me on my bullshit. Women don't want you to ignore their bullshit, because that's, an extra layer of safety if they're acting a fool, and then you point it out and you're not shy about the shit, then They respect that. What they don't like are these creepy leftist dudes that are like, trying to be their friend first. And, oh my God, she's such a good friend. We just hang out and Netflix and chill, and we're just besties. They hate that shit. They want you to, they want you to give them an opportunity to be slutty. Some girls. They want you to give them the right opportunity to just hook up. Especially girls in 2019 in Los Angeles. They want you to just be smooth with the shit and be like, oh, this is what I'm doing later tonight. What are you doing? And she'll be like, blah, 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 blah. And then if she seems interested in what you're doing, you'd be like, oh, well, you're welcome to join if you like, I guess, And then, bada bing, bada boom. But if you have a girl coming over, you got to make a move. If a girl comes over to your place and she's like drinking alcohol, if you don't make a move, she's going to hate you. Like there was this one opportunity I had with a girl in my apartment complex that I totally missed a layup. I'll tell y'all where I missed a layup. I muffed a punt. All right. Because she caught me off guard with shit. I was finishing up a podcast and I had to talk to this girl on and off, or like out by the pool and shit. And so we kind of knew each other. We kind of hung out a little bit. And then like I was saying peace out to one of my homies that I had on the podcast. And she showed up in her door with some tight little fucking booty shorts on, some tight little spandex booty shorts, and she has a fat ass. And I was like, oh, hello. And she was like, Nick. And I was like, oh, what up? And then she invited me in, and she wanted me to help her rearrange some furniture and and help her put a bed together. And basically I stood there and talked some shit with her while she put her bed together. She's getting a new bed. She gets the shit together, and then she's rocking it for stability, right? And she's looking at me, and she's like, what's going to happen when I have sex? And I was like, and I had this in the back of my head where the head manager had told me that the previous assistant manager, which is my position right now, I'm assistant manager. The previous assistant manager, he didn't like that he was like trying to press up on the girls and trying to hook up with the girls in the apartment complex. And so I had that in my head. And so I'm like, that was the moment where I should have been like, well, shit, let's find out. And pressed up on her and pulled in for that makeout. But I didn't go all the way. That's that Charles Bukowski shit. If you're going to do it, go all the way. And I didn't go all the way. I was like, shit, well, I guess you have to find out. I left it general. And she was pissed off that I missed the layup. That will piss a girl off so much. She has barely talked to me since. This happened fucking 6 months ago. She's barely talked to me since. And I know exactly why, because she wanted me to take that layup. And I fucking missed the layup. God damn it. You gotta take them L's sometime, baby. God damn. But yeah, dude, they'll give you that window of opportunity. You got to pounce when you see it. But that was one of them shits. I was getting ready to run the punt back for a touchdown, bro. I mean, we needed a punt return for a touchdown in that moment. And I was like, I was fielding the punt, and I looked down at the coverage before I caught the shit. And where'd the ball go? And the whole sideline went, oh, what the fuck? That was a touchdown. They had the punt coverage set up all perfect. We had the wedge going, bro. All I needed to field that motherfucker and run. And I was like, what? Where'd the rock go? God damn it. Don't take your eye off the ball, son. Don't take your eye off that booty. Oh, hey. Oh. I've, I'll go through some terrible shit to get to a great ass, though, ladies and gentlemen. I'll take times out of my middle of my day I'll get a fat bottle of wine at a CVS and I'll head down to Crenshaw Boulevard and meet up with a girl. There was this one time I met up with this girl off the dating apps, and she had this big old ridiculous ass to waist ratio was off the fucking chain, and I was like, okay, and was over at her place at like 3 in the afternoon with a fat bottle of wine, and show up, and she's looking just like how she was looking in the dating apps. She's just fine as hell, and I show up and we go in her living room, and she starts pouring wine and shit in the kitchen before we go in the living room, and then we carry our glasses of wine in the living room, and I see all 3 of her kids. And like, I was weirded out that they were there, obviously, but then I was weirded out, like, how did your waistline rebound like that? She was trim as a motherfucker and just splat out. It's like, god damn it. And the kids were watching cartoon and shit. We're sitting there sipping wine, thinking about fucking. And the kids are looking at us like, mister, you think the cartoons are funny? It's like, bruh, this sure is funny, ain't it? Mama, why don't you give me a tour of the place? Let's go in the back room. Oh, no, she was a black girl. This is Crenshaw Boulevard out here in Los Angeles. Why don't you give me that Cribs tour, baby? And I took her in the back, and ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. And the kids were knocking on the door and shit. Mama! Terrible, man. But that ass was tremendous. This was my early 20s when I first moved out here, man. I was going buck wild, dude. Mom, it's time for dinner. Yeah, I've never really been into the Latinas that much. They don't have that much. They don't have that big enough hip to waist ratio usually. Jennifer Lopez is an exception. I think she's a little more Caribbean inspired. But you get that refrigerator look with the Latinas a lot of time, where the waist is just the same size as their ass. I'm like, meh. What's up, Testy? Yeah, biggest influences comedically. I mean, Bill Hicks, number one, first and foremost. What up, Sadiq? Patrice O'Neal, for sure. Doug Stanhope, George Carlin. All them greats right there. And that's pretty much my Mount Rushmore. And then late 90s Chris Rock was tremendous. I like Bill Burr and Louis C.K. circa 2010-ish. They were really going hard in the fucking paint with the politically incorrect material, and I love it. But mainly the people that were just really just punch you in the stomach funny, but also were telling truths on stage. And uncomfortable truths. Pryor as well. You can't forget Pryor, because he was just so raw and honest. And of course, fucking Eddie Murphy. If you're gonna say the word raw, you gotta say Eddie, because he just took that character play and that staying in the moment to another fucking level, dude. It's a damn shame. I was talking about this on the last stream. I wrote a script for Eddie Murphy, and I delivered Postmates to his house, and I was really hoping Eddie would answer the door. But it was his daughter, and I just delivered it with no ear beating about the screenplay, and I was proud of myself but I do know Eddie Murphy's address. If anybody wants to get arrested with me out here, or if anybody has a drone, remote control drone that we can fly the script over his wall with, let me know. But Eddie, I think that's one of the reasons he stopped doing stand-up, is because he got caught with that tranny. And he has this whole, persona on stage of being this alpha male and having this bravado and being this, virile, like, sex machine on stage. And he couldn't go up on stage and address the tranny debacle. And so, he pretty much went straight goofy movies from that point. Nutty Professor and fucking Norbit. But he seems to be making some new shit lately. Hopefully, I can get my script to him at some goddamn point. I wrote a wacky ass blaxploitation movie. Bill Thompson says, "What do you think of Larry David and just straight up observational humor guys?" There's a place for that. Not necessarily my style. I like people that are a little more raw, that talk about really what they think and really what's going on in the world and real issues going on, versus like, oh my God, there's a hair on the wall of my shower and all the intricacies of this hair on the wall, and what's the deal with coffee cups? Why are they always so small? Maybe I want a lot of coffee. And it's like, they're just being overly dramatic about nonsense, little pedantic shit. It's very, it's very Jewish and very, OCD. It's like, I feel like if you're up on stage, you should be saying something that means something to somebody. There's a responsibility to say some important shit. I think if you're up on a stage talking with a microphone and a bunch of people are looking at you, I feel like, but there's a place for that kind of comedy, just goofy nothing comedy. It's just not really my cup of tea. I did like Curb Your Enthusiasm though. That's a hilarious show, man. Just because it's the social awkwardness and all the arguments he would get into with JB Smoove. Oh, dude, that was some great TV. Tessie says he can write a good joke, but I'm bad at getting it out. Yeah, you just got to get on stage, bro. You just got to get on stage and let it fly. The less writing, the better. Like, go up there and talk about your day. Talk about what happened to you today, what you felt today, what's going on in your life recently. What's some new shit that you started to do that you haven't done before? What's some changes you're trying to make in your life that you're implementing in your life now? So just start with that and then get into what's weird about it and like all the hypotheticals and the satire of it. Start with that and just get on stage and let it fly. Because you can really get into paralysis by analysis if you just sit in front of a keyboard and try to make jokes all the time. It's not going to make it funnier on stage the more time you spend in front of the keyboard. I mean, you got to get up on stage and then like listen back to it, listen back to the audio, and then refine it and keep going up and keep going up and keep going up, and it'll get sharper and sharper and sharper. And don't mind the MC Hammer Pants lesbians. If they try to heckle you, all right, just push through. Stay in the pocket. You can do it too, Burgess. Get out there, baby. I don't know where y'all live, but find that local open mic. You know what I'm saying? I started in Oklahoma. I had to drive like 90 minutes to get to the open mic. And so I was only getting up like once or twice a month, but you got to get out there and get your feet wet. Get your beak wet. And when I first came to LA, it was almost the same thing because I was so far away from the open mics. I was living down by LAX, almost down by the beach. And so I would have to drive all the open mics at that time. Like now there's one that runs at like 10 o'clock. I wish I would have known about that one up in the valley. But now the mics, or back then the mics, all the mics I could find, they started like 5, 6 o'clock. So I would have to fucking drive through rush hour traffic to get up there and then back. And so I was only getting on stage like 5, 6 times a month. But now since I live in Hollywood, I'm centrally located, baby. I can shoot up that freeway real quick like and get to all the spots and hit them up. Burgess says, but the comedy environment is harsh today. It's like they're the speech police. Yeah, in some places for sure. But nobody fundamentally likes that shit. Everybody likes if you can have a well-crafted joke that's politically incorrect, because that's the funniest shit. It's like when you're in school and you're not supposed to be talking, and there's a real strict teacher, and you're not supposed to be saying any shit, but then your friend whispers some shit to you, and it's the funniest shit in the world because you're not supposed to laugh at it. It's like the forbidden thing to laugh at is a good thing to attack on stage, because you're immediately going to create some dramatic tension in the room, and then if you can pop it effectively and get people to like you and then drop the hammer on them, then they're going to love you for that shit. They're going to love you for relieving the tension that was in their head and in the room. People want to have that tension relieved. Nobody likes this, anti-free speech, like off-limits comedy. Nobody likes that bullshit. That's why I'm confident that I'm going to take over this LA scene, because, nobody has the balls to go up on stage and tell the truth. Everybody's scared that, there's some Jewish agent in the crowd that's not going to like them and be like, oh, he's not abiding by the narrative. That's we're not going to give him a deal. His career's over. Ain't nobody giving a fuck. We got the internet, baby. I can come on here and talk shit to all my people and build my own audience. Somebody said Judd Apatow. Bill Thompson says you can use this one. How do you know when your girlfriend is getting fat? When she fits in your wife's clothes. Oh, shit. You talking about Judd Apatow? Oh, I thought you meant... Oh, you talking about Ashley Judd? I thought you were talking about Judd Apatow. Because, he kind of fits in with what we're talking about right now. He's one of those... He's a comic who, wrote some screenplays about nerdy teenagers. And, now wants to shit all over Louis C.K. for joking about the Parkland kids. And, the comedy police have arrived. That's that PC police shit, man. Watch the sketches. We're on top of it from the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. They claim they want to fight fascism as they're executing fascism. AJ says, I think it would suck as a comedian because there are some jokes I think that make me laugh so hard it makes it impossible to speak. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, it's better to laugh at your own material. Sometimes it's better to not. Sometimes it's better to keep that straight face on and just plow through it. And saying ridiculous shit with a straight face is, is a good bet. Bill Thompson. Bill Thompson's killing it with the one-liners, dude. What's the best way to pick up a Jewish girl? With a dustpan and a brush. I talk about the Jews on stage a little bit. I'm like, everybody thinks there's this big global Jewish conspiracy, and what I think they're confusing for a massive global conspiracy is slightly higher average IQ. That's what's happening. I want to be a friend to these Jews out here in Hollywood. I don't hate them. I want to do cocaine with them and come up with business ideas. All right, I want to get in on the Jewish conspiracy. I love the Jewish men out here, not the women though. They're it's a whole lot of neurotic nagging for not a lot of ass. It's not the ratio I'm looking for. uh, with black women, it's not this constant nagging that happens. It's like it's dedication and love, and then it's like every now and then you'll have like a blow up like fake fight where you're like getting an arguing match, and it's fun because it's like shit talking. It's like a roast battle with a black chick, and then once she realizes you get it and that you don't fundamentally give a fuck and you're just roasting her back, then it's fun, dude. Then it's that's how you can end up fucking after you fight, you know, because you just roast her right back and be like, no, why you wearing them pants like that? Why you got that shirt on like that, trying to look like you got shoulder pads on? Are you a running back for the lingerie league? What the fuck is happening? Just poke at their insecurities. And you know, once you get over the hump with black women, they realize you get it, and you got a sense of humor about yourself, and you can make fun of them back, and you don't get all weird and like offended about shit. Then they love it. Bill Thompson's not racist. He owns a color TV, dude. You know? That's hilarious. The leftists have no arguments against me, so I go up on stage, I talk about race a lot. All right, we'll see you later, 1,000 Yard, you bad motherfucker. I talk about race a lot on stage, and people are like, you know, that's the only ammo they have against me. It's like, oh, he's kind of racist. And it's like, half the material I do on stage is about fucking black women. Like, like how people always say that shit like it's ridiculous. Like, oh, I can't be racist. I have some black friends. And the leftists just make fun of that. When it's like, that's actually some evidence that you're not racist if you have good black friends and you get along with black people. That's like, if you're actually racist, that shit wouldn't be happening. And it's like, I could be literally inside a black girl and they'd still be like, well, he voted Trump, so he is racist. And I'm like, but I'm in her right now. We're having a good time. What? And he's like, well, you did vote for Trump. I mean, kind of racist. Yeah, they don't have any arguments, AJ. They don't have any arguments, so they just, you know, ad hominem to the death. Their real fundamental horror is that I'm actually more liberal than they are, because they want a big government that taxes people 70%. And I'm like, no, personal freedom, no government. How about that? And they're like, Nazi. It's like, yeah, the Nazis wanted no government. That's what they wanted. The Nazis were really libertarian with their giant totalitarian dictatorship and concentration camps. That's they fit right in the alt-right spectrum there. That's the slander term they always use, alt-right, because you know they can you can lump in libertarians with Nazis. They're the same thing. Because the Nazis really abided by the non-aggression principle, you know. That's the end game of the non-aggression principle. You just end up stuffing a bunch of Jews in an oven. That's where the non-aggression principle gets you. Cooking the Jews. Dude, the Nazis were not right-wing, all right? Hitler was a vegetarian. He was a failed artist, and he couldn't get laid. Does that sound like a right-winger to you? Hitler was a fucking soy boy, beta. And he tried to fuck Jewish girls, and they didn't want any of that, you know, that tiny mustache dick. And so that created a lot of resentment. And so he was like, they must all die mine. And that's how the Holocaust happened. Because Hitler couldn't get his dick wet. Them Jewish chicks were too high IQ for his horse shit. Have you sold any of your paintings, Hitler? You spend all day on these paintings. You're eating tofu salad. What is... I don't like your prospects, Hitler. And he's like, you'll all die. Die. Hitler was a soy boy, man. Don't let the public school system fool you, all right? The Nazis were not right-wing. That's a propaganda tactic used to demonize people who want small government, all right? So they can lump you in as the further right you go, they can start to call you a Nazi. But in actuality, the further right you go, the more freedom you want. That should be the actual spectrum, is big government, no government. And over on the right is no government, being an actual anarchist. It's hilarious these Antifa faggots call themselves anarchists when it's like there are people that call themselves anarcho-communists, which is like so bizarre. Like, you want a big government, but you're an anarchist? What's the... I don't get it. But you're calling me a fascist. Okay, all right. You're the one out here protesting to shut down free speech. Yeah, the Nazis, the National Socialist Party, Burgess. And the Democrats were the party of the KKK and of Jim Crow. All right, they shifted that. They say there was a party switch, but what really happened is the Democrats switched from actual slavery to mental slavery in the form of welfare and demonizing the Republicans as racist, and convincing the black people to vote for them so they can protect them from those evil racist Republicans, even though 90% of the people who owned slaves were actually Democrats in the South. Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. But pay no attention to that. It's these evil, redneck, right-wing, racist Republicans. These backwoods hillbillies. And that's why Bill Burr fails on his truth illumination in stand-up, is if he got that point, he's been kind of indoctrinated by his leftist wife, I think. He did marry a black woman, but I think she's like a feminist, and she has this, evil whitey narrative of history that Bill Burr buys into. And I think, he idolized Patrice O'Neal, and Patrice probably, brought him into this way of thinking as well. But it's just not true. It's not true. The real evil whitey in history is the white Democrat who wants to own black people physically and mentally. Hitler was missing a nut. That's hilarious, dude. Bill Thompson says, black privilege is being able to spout anti-white racist rhetoric in the name of social justice. Yeah. Yeah, we got to balance out that teeter-totter. It's just been so pro-white. Black privilege is the freedom to be racist and get away with it while complaining about how racist everybody else is. Yeah. You remember that hashtag Oscars so white? It can't just be that white people generally have a predilection to get into nerdy professions like filmmaking and acting and all this shit. It's like, no, we need a balance out of skin colors in the award system or else racist. Thompson says, long story short, black women need to keep their legs closed until marriage. That alone will fix the black community. Democrats and the welfare benefits make them far too comfortable. Yeah, there's responsibility on both sides. The men got to wrap up their dicks, and the women got to stop being so promiscuous, except with people like me, because I wrap it up, all right? And I treat them nice. I just give them wine and dick, and I wear condoms, all right? So stop having sex with the black men and come to me, and everything will be fine. We'll fix the welfare system, all right? We're not having any kids. We're not having any kids out of wedlock. Everything will be fine. That's how we solve the welfare system, is all the black women come to me. Okay, do your squats and come to me. But yeah, the real problem with the welfare state is the incentive structure it creates. And you don't have to give a fuck about contraception because the government's handing out them checks, baby. covering up all your bad decisions. We got the safety net underneath your pussy. Don't worry about it. Yeah, never trust a woman who says she's on birth control. Always wrap it up. For sure, man. For sure. That's the worst situation a man can find himself in, is having that unplanned baby with a girl you don't love. Ugh, that is fucking rough, dude. I do not envy those people. I knew some people in high school that ended up in that situation, and that is fucking rough, bruh. Then you're locked in with at least 18 years with a chick that you know, will come to despise. You got to deal with the whole family court system and shit. It's like, ugh. Ooh. Nightmare. So glad I avoided that shit. And pre-cum will get a chick pregnant, all right? Wrap it up. Double wrap it. But, you know, the ultimate goal is to find a good wife out there. I'm in this catch-22 because I want to experience single rich man pussy, you know? But I also don't want to fuck around and marry a gold digger who like finds a reason to magically want to divorce me 2 years in and takes half my shit. And so it's a little bit of a catch-22. I gotta have some extreme vetting on any woman I decide to marry. I don't even know about marriage in general. Like, I guess if you live with a woman long enough, it's common law marriage and the same family court laws apply, but I don't know. I mean, you might as well get married if you're going to have a kid, but it's really about picking the mother of your offspring there, and that's a big fucking decision. I definitely want to have kids. I'm not one of these people who's like, overpopulation, oh my God, like, that's all horseshit. The world needs intelligent people in the next generation. I'm not letting the third world immigrants and the Muslims and, you know, all these fucking, you know, inbred weirdos outbreed me. All right. I want to have 3, 4, 5 kids, and, you know, they're all going to be goddamn genius, waspy, bad motherfuckers. All right. They're going to build the next, you know, generation of civilization. All right. And protect Western society. All right. They're not going to outbreed me, ladies and gentlemen. But the task is, you know, I think ultimately, you know, I got to reach a pinnacle of success as a single man in order to land that top quality woman. Because that, like we were talking about earlier, the woman wants a man that's better than she is. And so if I'm going to land that fucking supermodel fucking 10 that's going to give me the best genetics of my kids, well, you know, got to make that moolah. I got to get to the top of this stand-up game right here. And then the opportunities shall present themselves. But probably, you'll get a good one, but probably ugly. Oh no. Hey, if she accepts the non-aggression principle, all right, and she's got a fat ass, you know, we can make it work. Yeah, I gotta have an extreme vetting process, man. Extreme vetting. What do you think about the non-aggression principle? Do I have more jokes? Well, all right, I'll give you one. I talk about on stage of how, like, you know, I had hoop dreams growing up, and you know, that'll really set you straight as far as like where people are in terms of equality. Like, everybody talks about equality and like, oh, we're all equal. Fundamentally, we're all equal when it really comes down to it. And it's like, people that say we're all equal, to me, that just means you haven't really played sports and kept score. All right? Because my high school basketball team was the hardest working motherfucking team in the nation. Our coach was a complete asshole. He made us run suicide sprints every goddamn day. All right, and he was a complete dickhead. Okay, we were the hardest working team in the nation, but we all knew deep down that when we went out of town and traveled to one of those urban areas, none of that hard work bullshit was going to matter. All right, we would show up thinking, oh, we're really prepared. We've been running all our plays. We've been listening to our coach, and we would show up, and the other team didn't even have a coach, bruh. They were just fucking shooting dice and fucking rolling blunts on the sideline. We're like, what the fuck? What is this shit? Are they ready to play the game? And then we'd start the game and we find out how ready they were. First possession, we come down and throw a pass. It gets picked off and shit. We're trying to find the ball in transition, and you turn around and the ball carrier is gone. You're like, where the fuck did he go? And he's above you at that moment. He's soaring above you. And, the only thing you see is his two balls above you like a fucking mistletoe. And the only thing you got to kiss is your own ass goodbye. All right? And even your teammates on the bench are taking videos of the shit on their cell phone. I don't give a fuck what team I'm on. This is going on World Star Hip Hop. They didn't have a coach. They had to do from the N1 mixtape tour. All right? While I'm standing there getting crossed up and shit, he's there with a megaphone like, oh, baby, sizzle. And I'm like, anybody who gets dunked on got to take their jersey off. And then it would just be, our whole team is a pile of Caucasian sadness sitting on the bench without any jerseys, And I would try to, so some people are better at different shit, I would try to challenge them after the game. I'd be like, y'all better at basketball, all right, but what do you say we have a little philosophical debate on geopolitics? What do you think about that, fellas? And they were like, nah, we're gonna party with your cheerleaders. And I was like, oh, all right, okay, moving on. Oh, dude. So that's my "we're not all equal" joke there. I've been posting up some clips and shit, and trying to get some shit on video for y'all and post it up on the podcast. Try to get shit going viral. Trying to like it out and share it out if you please, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Testy. Yeah, dude, it's all from experience, getting dunked on. I think Burgess doesn't have any idea what Caucasian sadness is. Well, you haven't really played competitive athletics then, have you? When we gonna have a live podcast? Shit, I don't know, man. I gotta have a venue to do that shit, man. I could do it in my goddamn apartment, my living room here, I guess. If you motherfuckers would trek out here to Los Angeles, we could get it popping. Yes, talk to my agent, talk to the Jews, they'll get it sorted out. I'm just trying to get paid for some stand-up or one of my screenplays, goddammit. Sooner or later, we're going to break through. In the meantime, I'm trying to get this manager job, man, and set me up a goddamn Hugh Hefner situation, And once I'm the manager, everybody's going to have my phone number and be texting me and shit. I'm not going to muff any more punts, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to make them moves when they're presented to me. We're going to make it happen out here in Hollywood. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I am out of booze for tonight. I guess I'll wrap up the podcast here. Always fun hanging out with you bad motherfuckers. Follow me on Instagram at Nick Jordan himself. On Twitter at I am Nick Jordan. The full podcast audio is under Outrage Cast, all one word on all the podcast apps and shit. Like it if you like it. Share it out if you want to share the ideas out, baby. Get that Western civilization saved. That's what we're doing here at Outrage TV, man. We're pushing back against the bullshit. and speaking truth to power and doing what we got to do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're bearing that cross and we're staggering uphill. One step at a time, ladies and gentlemen. And I appreciate y'all coming along for the ride with me. Always fun here on the Outrage Cast. Federal Outrage Chancellor. Bill Thompson says, I suggested to my wife that she'd look sexier with her hair back, which is apparently an insensitive thing to say to a cancer patient. Bill Thompson got jokes, baby. Oh, dude. You need to be serving your wife chicken soup and broccoli, goddammit. Cure that cancer up, man. You insensitive, misogynist bastard. All right, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow. Midnight, same Outrage time, same Outrage channel. We'll be out here rocking it out with our cocks out. You know, shaming the communists where they stand, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we do here. And I appreciate y'all hanging out with me and having fun. It's always a good time. So, yeah, I'll see you bad motherfuckers later. I got to go piss really bad right now and get some sleep. I'm hitting the gym tomorrow.